So you want to main Nasus. Well, do you like stacks? Do you like 3 stacks? Do you like 6 stacks? Do you like stacks on stacks on stacks? And do you like to commit the act of stacking? The Nasus, the curator of the sands, is for you.
I'll have 2 number
Stack.
The lore for Nasus was that he was a young Shuriman scholar, a genius, and eventually a fantastic military strategist. Working with his brother Renekton, a brutal and fantastic warrior, the two were inseparable and completely unstoppable. Him being a god-tier tactician, and Renekton being a great soldier, also a fucking prick, but a great soldier. Soon, Nasus fell ill, and the Shuriman priest chose him for ascension on the Sun Disk. So weak and ill, Nasus was unable to climb the stairs to the disc, so with love in his heart and donning some good old Crocs, Renekton sacrificed himself by carrying Nasus to the disc, which should have killed him, but it did not. They both ascended. Nasus took the form of a large jackal-headed dog, and Renekton of course took the form of the crocodile that he is. Now this led to centuries of war and fight that the two engaged in, both working at 5 times, 10 times, 200 times the efficiency as before, but the real fall of Shurima occurred with Azir's ascension. Now Azir's ascension is a very big part of the overarching lore of League of Legends, and that was described back in Azir's lore way back when. This is a story for a different time. The long and short of it is Xerath tried to fuck it up, got himself ascended, almost all of Shurima was obliterated, Nasus and Renekton fought Xerath, which, you know, in-game they should have fucking murdered, but hey, you know. Nasus was forced to stick Xerath in a magical sarcophagus, and Renekton was forced inside too. Xerath then twisted Renekton's mind so much that now he's out and about trying to kill Nasus, while Nasus was just kind of chilling, probably farming, maybe attending to his grains, biting fleas, and one-shotting 80 carries because you forgot he's been free farming top lane for 40 minutes. In-game, Nasus is without a doubt the most relaxing champion in all of League. Well, in the right circumstances. Yeah, he's kind of a meme. He's an amazing, just stone-cold meme. He simply farms and farms and farms, and guess what? He probably does lose the early game, but who gives a shit? You need to farm. Nasus needs to be pressured all game or else he's gonna come back. Nasus is a stack monster. He loves stacks, fat stacks, big stacks, small stacks, thick stacks. Nasus needs some items, of course, but how much farm you have does not matter. It's how much of that farm are stacks. Now that's the big deal. Of course, CSing is important, but get those stacks. Nasus is all stacks. Granted, AP Nasus is pretty fun, will not deny, but what makes AP Nasus a thing is also because you're still stacking. Playing AP Nasus is more like a hybrid Nasus. Q stacks plus some AP. But honestly, let's be real. You play Nasus for stacks, for farming, for getting enough CDR to the point where you can have hundreds of stacks by 20 minutes and walk bot lane and 2-shot the 80 carry as they attempt to run away from your wither. You see, Nasus waits. And his team waits, and his team simply needs to handle themselves without him. If he loses the early game, they need to handle a little bit longer. If he wins early game, they need to handle a little bit less. But no matter how long they wait, Nasus will become what they need him to be. All they need to do is not feed too hard and wait for you to come by and make an 80 carry in 2017 a real life meme. So Nasus's passive is every dog has this massive fucking lifesteal. Nasus permanently gains lifesteal, 10%, 15%, and then 20% with level, and here's a little bit of suck math. Nasus passive is absolutely one of the strongest passives in, I think, the entire game. It's so good. What's one way to never die? Make it so that when you one-shot an 80 carry, you rip that health bar and put it on your own. You steal, you steal, you steal more toward the late game. You never stop regenerating health, and you regen more the more stacks you have. You heal and steal and suck and never ever stop. And Nasus's Q is stacks. There is no other name. It's just stacks. It empowers your next auto attack and you gain 150 range. It deals bonus physical damage, and killing a minion gives 3 bonus damage. Killing a champion, large minion or large monster gives 6 more stacks of bonus damage. Resets your auto attack timer and you stack indefinitely. And here's stacking math. I mean, here it is. Here, it's the Q. This is the Q. The Q is everything. It's your bread, your butter, your toaster, the plastic packaging, the knife, the grain itself, the grocery store you bought it from, and the farmer who picked the wheat. And guess what the farmer's name is? Nasus. Stack minions, stack champions, stack and never stop stacking. ever. Nasus's W is getting shot in the kneecaps. Slows an enemy champion, reduces their attack speed by half the slow, and increases over 5 seconds for both values. That being said, it increases over 5 seconds for both values. And here's some crippling math. Wither is one of the most crippling abilities we have to date. The only other thing I can think of is Morgana's Root. This one slows attack speed, it slows movement speed, and it slows them even harder as time goes on. It's an 80 carries nightmare. Any champion where attack speed matters, he's a nightmare. Wither hurts a lot, and this form of like mounting dread that comes up when he walks up to you with a fully stacked Q ready to go, it is very beautiful. Nasus's E is the Bone Zone. Creates an AoE damage zone, does initial damage and then a damage over time, reduces the armor to anyone in the area, and you gotta take them to the bone zone. AP Nasus lovers rejoice, your E has arrived. Solid damage, 60% AP ratio on initial cast, 12% per second afterwards. Pretty strong, but for the other Nasus players, you care about that armor reduction. Hitting them with the Wither, then the E will give you at least one solid Q to slam onto their foreheads and deal incredible damage. At max rank, 40 armor reduction is pretty crippling to any squishy champion just like you are. And Nasus's ultimate is the secret to the +6. It empowers yourself for 15 seconds, you gain bonus health, armor, MR, and size. Increases to 175 range on his basic attacks, and deals magic damage to enemies around him, and gains bonus resistances per second. And here's some mega dog math. His ultimate is what turns him into raid boss mode. Like a regular boss, you fight and you fight, but oh god, he has gone frenzy, and now you're all going to die. Bonus health, bonus resistances that continue to gain with time, max health damage to all around him, and with increases to range, he can slam down even harder. This turns Nasus into death itself. Big, scary farmer dog of death. This makes him even more than he already is. So skill max, I go Q, E, W. Q is absolutely 100% obvious. You need stacks, I want stacks, it makes stacking easier. E, I choose second for the armor reduction and increased damage, and W last because Wither on its own is amazing and doesn't really need to be upgraded much until late game, and by then, guess what? You're leveling up at that point anyway. Unless, of course, you're going AP Nasus, then it goes EQW, but yeah. But how do I play Nasus? I'm ashamed to admit how much time I spent on that. You know what I never understood? You can't go to the airport and say, I have a bomb. You can't go to a school and say, I have a gun. You can't go to a Doctor Who premiere and say, I have time. And you can't go to a Chuck E. Cheese and say, I have my dick out. But you can go into League of Legends as a literal time bomb and nobody will arrest you. The craziness of that logic will never go unnoticed by me. Riot? Fix that. Nasus is a time bomb, and you have 3 choices with this time bomb. Destroy it before it gets to the location where it wants to explode, defuse its multiple wires, making its explosion useless, or let it explode and force you to lose the game. You either destroy him early game, destroy his team so he cannot make up for their incompetence, or Nasus wins the game. Plain and simple. As a Nasus player, your early game is one of your weakest in the entire game. You have one of the weakest early games in the entire game. The only thing keeping you from being literally useless is your passive, allowing you to have a pretty prominent lane system, especially with Doran's shield being so good right now. Literally, your whole focus is on staying alive and racking up as many stacks as you can. You see, Nasus has this thing called the mid-game Susan Spike, or the MGSS. Eventually, whether it's because you just bought a Sheen, or because you have so much CDR, or because you just have so many stacks, you'll be able to outduel almost any laner, roughly around mid-game. Whoever you're fighting, even if someone as terribly mean like Riven, Renekton, Gnar, or anyone who destroys you in the early game, so long as you're not too far behind, you can be able to kill them. This is your time to begin taking over the lane. With such a presence, lifesteal passively higher, and this many stacks, your ability to get stacks without any issues will start showing. The more stacks you have, the easier it is to get stacks. You will have control of the lane and the final say, and you can start stacking without any interference unless they bring their jungler. This is when the enemy has to start putting more attention on you or just farm the fuck out of your teammates. But, I mean, who cares about them? You want stacks. You want more and more and more stacks. All you care about are stacks. The measure of a Nasus's worth is how far the enemy AD carry's jaw drops when you hit them with 1 Q. What you need to do is to arrive to a fight. Hit them with a Wither, hit them with a Q, and land 1 Q. This should blow all their summoner spells and possibly their support summoner spells. Then you can decide, is it worth continuing? If the answer is yes, press Q again and win. If the answer is no, hit their tank until you're full health again and then go murder them anyway. Then it's time to stack, to split push, to stack push, to kill the people coming to stop you and then make them into +6s and take even more farm. If your team comes to help you, you push the wave and you ping them back and report them after the game. Protect your farm like you protect your mildly used limited edition body pillows with your life. And when all that anime power comes surging through your veins and you have enough stacks that Walter White is looking at them with envy, you win the game. Simple Susan. There's just one problem. Riot, if you guys didn't know, I've cracked the code, has implemented a secret feature into League of Legends that when you play Nasus, you are automatically placed in an elo slightly higher than you actually are in, but that elo only affects the enemy. So all of you are, say, in gold 5 or something, but the enemy team is all in platinum 5, but sometimes all of your teammates could actually be in silver 1. So in fact, because you picked Nasus, they make it so that your teammates are worse and the enemy is better, and therefore, they will feed every single game. In the early game, they will go 2-17, and nothing happens top lane. And you have stacks, but it doesn't fucking matter because everyone else has 7 kills and can 2-shot you because your team doesn't seem to understand the idea of playing safe for Nasus to murder everyone. Now let's make some big stack plays. In lane, all you need to do is stay alive. Contrary to popular belief, the 1 stack is in fact not worth your life. If you take damage, regen it off safe minions or under tower if you have to, then the gold you will get off killing you is not worth the few stacks of gold you can get off missing a few minions. It almost never is. Play safe, stack when you can, and back off when you need to. Mid-game, if you did play it safe, you'll probably be at roughly around 150 to 200 stacks if you did it well. This is prime murder time. If you're building a sheen or any kind of item to help with the stacking, you should be able to engage on your enemy or at least have a good presence in the lane now. The bullying is over, and now you're back to cause some serious problems. If their tower hasn't been taken, just stake it and then keep on stacking. Finally, late game, it may be time to abandon the stacks. Now, of course, keep stacking as you play. The roughly 600 to 800 stacks, you'll start to kind of plateau. Your team will actually need you, and you'll actually need them. If you're fed enough, raid boss enough, stacked enough, you could almost definitely 2-shot any squishy and also drop some real pain onto tanks. You will be the primary target of most focusing. And to that, you have 2 options. If your team is competent, then team fight with them. You won't be focused as much, and if that's the case, then they can wreak havoc when you soak all the damage up. The second option is to split push. You probably kill towers with 3 to 4 Qs. With nobody able to deal with you in a 1v1 scenario, your team should always be 4v3ing, and you'll always be 2v1ing, which will force the enemy to decide which objective they want to lose first. Keep that up, and you should win the game. For Nasus builds, that is very much up to you. You can build a lot of items on Nasus. I prefer a stack-based build. I love Triforce and Spirit Visage as my core items. Triforce is a solid item all around and is great for Nasus players. And Spirit Visage just got a buff to give you extra healing. It makes him even more unkillable. Past that, it's anybody's game. It all depends on the team comp. However, I will say, if you're fed and you're not too worried about getting instantly burst down, Death's Dance on Nasus is hilariously dumb and amazing. try it out. For masteries, I use Storm Raiders with a 45% CDR. 45% CDR is obvious, you need more stacks, but the fact that you have Storm Raiders just makes you land 1 stack and then fly across the map. For runes, I run flat AD, armor, MR, and movement speed. Movement speed is rather nice in the early game if you're pressured, and also great for late, similar to Storm Raiders. For Nasus skins, we have Space Nasus, Walk Like a Nasus, Fear the Old Nasus, Snoop Nasus, Thou Art Stacked Nasus, It's Fucking Purple Nasus, and Nasus Brutality. And finally, before I go, here are the usual Nasus clips. Enjoy. So, as you can tell, there haven't been very many clips of, you know, games with friends in this video. I've been, spending a lot of time, you know, playing this game. And, well, yeah. I'll go ask them if they want to play. Hey guys, you want to play some Farming Simulator?
What is Farming Simulator? Is that RuneScape?
Oh,
What is Farming Simulator?
you don't know about Farming Simulator?
Oh, like the actual game Farming Simulator?
Yeah, you want to play some Farming Simulator?
Kill yourself.
Okay.
Farming Simulator 2017 or 2016?
2015.
Really?
Someone buy it for you?
No,
Why do you want to play it?
it's for a bit.
Man.
And the bit isn't really working out right now.
Heyo.
Hey,
Wait, what was
Gulpin,
the bit you coming in and asking us if we wanted to play?
kind of, yeah.
Wait, what were we supposed to do?
I don't know, I was just curious if you had any reaction.
See, I thought you were talking about like some specific game. Also, there's a body bag out here, Joe.
He was actually talking about League of Legends. He's playing Nasus.
I was doing it for a Nasus video, yeah. Here, I'll leave and I'll join again, and we'll try this over again, alright?
Yeah, sure.
Alright.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
No way.
Is that the real Bricky Orchid
Alright.
In the simulated flesh?
The farm simulated flesh?
Is that better, Bricky? Is that better?
Yes. So let's wrap up Nasus. Nasus stacks on things. Alright, everyone. My name's Brookie. Thank you so much for watching this. So you want to make Nasus if you enjoyed it? I don't know. Like, you can like it if you like. You can sub if you want. Don't let me tell you what to do. I'm just a guy. I just made a video about a dog with a cane that stacks and is a time bomb. We made a few good jokes too, like a bomb on an airplane, and a small school shooting reference, and whipping your dick out in Chuck E. Cheese. My comedic material is only increasing. I love you guys. And please don't fuck up my solo queue. Bye-bye.